Hey, what is going on, guys? Lanh here from Android Authority. And if you have an HTC One M8 but you're still trying to figure out how to use it, well, this video is going to help you out with that. So today, let's go ahead and take a look at some tips and tricks for your HTC One M8. All right, so starting off with tip number one, and that is the motion gestures. They should already be on by default, but if not, go ahead and jump into settings, scroll down to display and gestures, select motion gestures, and make sure motion launch gestures is checked. The first gesture is a simple double tap gesture, so you can easily wake or put your phone to sleep without having to reach up top for that power button, because the HTC One M8 is quite a tall phone and reaching that power button can sometimes be a little difficult. So this double tap gesture is meant to alleviate that. If you want to unlock and get directly into the phone, a simple swipe upwards on the display will get you right in. This is probably my favorite feature because I don't have to deal with that power button and it simply bypasses the lock screen altogether, making it very quick and easy to get into the OS. Gesture number three is swiping from left to right, which will get you directly into blink feed. So if you're a big blink feed user, this could be very useful. The next gesture is swiping from right to left, and basically what this does is take you directly to your main home screen regardless of where you were within your phone. So for example, if I had Google Chrome opened and I locked my phone but I wanted to get back in and go to my main home screen, swiping from right to left will do that for me instead of just a normal unlocking, which would take me back to Google Chrome or whatever app you last had opened. If you want to call someone using your voice, a swipe down on the display will open up a voice command for calling your friends and family or whoever else you have in your contacts. So if I were to say call Bob, it will look for anyone named Bob in my contacts and call that particular person. It's very useful and it's a nice and quick way to call someone without having to unlock the phone first, open the dialer, and then dial their number. The final gesture is launching the camera without waking or unlocking the phone. All you have to do is pick up the phone in landscape mode and press the volume rocker up or down, it doesn't really matter, and boom, you are launched right into the camera. It's a little finicky in my experience, but it does work if all you want to do is get into your camera, quickly take a photo, and be on your way. Tip number two is U-Focus. So we all know about the duo camera on the HTC One, and with that secondary camera, you can do some really nice depth of field on photos that you've taken with the U-Focus feature. First, you'll want to take a photo, obviously, and for best results, you'll want to have a clear subject of focus so that it doesn't look quite so artificial when you apply the effect. After you've taken the photo, just tap on Edit and select U-Focus in the bottom left corner. From here, basically all you have to do is tap on what you want to be in focus and you'll notice everything else will become blurred. Again, this isn't perfect, but depending on what you select, you can get some pretty convincing depth of field, and there's also a slider that you can use to adjust the intensity of the blur to make it look a little more realistic. Tip number three is the themes. By default, the HTC One M8 sort of has this greenish look to it. You'll find a lot of green accents everywhere, but if you don't like that or you just want to switch things up a bit, you can do that. All you got to do is jump into settings, scroll down to personalize, and select theme. It's pretty limited, but just select whichever theme you prefer and hit apply. Once it's done applying, you'll notice that the accent colors have changed in places like the quick toggles and the settings menu, and even in the camera, you'll see that the colors have changed as well. So it's a really nice option when it comes to having a little more customization built right into your phone. Next up is tip number four, and that is the ability to edit your quick settings toggles. So it's very simple, just pull down on your notification shade, tap on the quick settings icon, and then tap the edit button that appears. Here you can rearrange the toggles in any order that you like just by simply dragging the slider on each toggle up or down. And once you're happy with the order, you can just tap on done and you'll see in your notification shade that your toggles have been rearranged. Unfortunately, you can't remove or hide toggles, you can only rearrange them, but it's still a nice feature nonetheless, especially since this is a feature you usually have to flash a custom ROM for in order to get it. So it's nice to see it built into the One M8 right out of the box. Tip number 5 is disabling blink feed. So if you don't like blink feed, you can actually turn it off, and HTC made it very easy to do so. It's a feature that many people originally wanted with the M7 from last year and eventually got through an update, and you can still turn it off here on the M8. All you have to do is do a pinch gesture on the home screen, long press on the blink feed screen up top, and drag it to the trash can to remove. Now, if you change your mind and you want blink feed back, just tap on the plus icon where it says blink feed, and it immediately brings it right back, so you don't have to jump through any weird hoops like going to your app manager and force stopping it or anything like that. HTC has made it very simple, and it takes just a few seconds. And last but not least, our final tip is how to customize your app drawer. So within the app drawer, there's a few things you can do to customize it to your liking, starting with the order of the apps in the top left corner. Here you can sort the apps in alphabetical order, which is what I typically like to use, most recent and custom. With custom, you have the ability to rearrange the apps in any order that you like just by pressing and holding on the app and dragging it anywhere you want within your app drawer. You can also create a folder within the app drawer, and it's pretty much the same as making a folder on your home screen. Just drag one app on top of another to create a folder, and you can also rename the folder if you so desire. You can also hide apps and change the grid size, and you don't have to have your app drawer set to custom to use these two features. It'll also work on alphabetical and most recent, but you can change the grid size from 3x4 to 4x5 if you want your app drawer to look a little bit more full. And if there's apps that you want to hide, just select hide/unhide apps and go through and check off any apps that you no longer want to see. It's a great way to clean up your app drawer, especially if you download a lot of icon packs or wallpaper apps like I do. You'll know that these apps tend to clutter up your app drawer pretty quickly, but it's also useful to hide any bloatware that comes preloaded on your phone that you don't use, which is what I've done here with a lot of these Verizon bloatware apps. But once you've selected all the apps you want to hide, just hit done and your app drawer should look much cleaner and be easier to navigate. And so there you have it, some tips and tricks for your HTC One M8. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below, and also subscribe to the channel, which is also down below. And once you're done doing all that, make sure to check out the website at androidauthority.com, because we are your source for all things Android.